Sisters, every morning that Allah grants you is not just another day. It is a divine gift, an opportunity, a fresh page written by the most merciful for you to fill with goodness. Before the world rushes in, before worries knock on the door of your heart, you have a chance to command your day through the remembrance of Allah. When you open your eyes, do not begin with your phone, your stress, or your problems. Begin by saying, Alhamdulillah. That single word is a declaration of victory. It means, oh Allah, I recognize your blessings long before I recognize my challenges. Start your morning by turning to the one who controls all affairs. Raise your hands and pray, oh Allah, whatever comes my way today, let it be filled with your guidance, your protection, and your mercy. A heart that begins with dua cannot be defeated because it is connected to the King of Kings. Say your morning adhkar with conviction. These are not mere words. They are shields, they are lights, they are fortresses placed around you by Allah Himself. When you recite Hasbi Allahu la ilaha illa huwa, you are announcing to the universe, Allah is enough for me. I walk with strength, not fear. My beloved brothers and sisters, many people wake up already defeated, worried about finances, relationships, health and responsibilities. But a believer wakes up with tawakkul. A believer says, oh Allah, I place my day in your hands. Guide my steps, protect my family, purify my intentions and bless my efforts. When you begin with this mindset, even small actions become great. Even difficult tasks become easy. And even painful tests become bearable. Because you know that Allah is with you. And remind yourself every morning, oh Allah, forgive me, expand my sustenance, grant me peace, and make my path today smooth. A heart that seeks forgiveness at the start of the day receives doors of provision by the end of the day. Do not allow negativity to enter before remembrance. Do not allow fear to enter before prayer. Do not allow the world to speak before Allah has spoken to your heart. Command your day by declaring, oh Allah, grant me victory over my weaknesses, victory over my sins, victory over my doubts, and victory over anything that distances me from you. Walk out of your home knowing that the one who guarded you in your sleep will guard you in your steps. Walk with dignity, with purpose, with hope, because a believer never walks alone. My brothers and sisters, if you start your morning with Allah, you will end your night with peace. Command your day with prayer, and Allah will grant you total victory. Reminds us that beginning the day with gratitude is not simply a polite expression or a spiritual habit. It is a profound internal shift that transforms the entire direction of a person's morning and ultimately the entire day. When you open your eyes and the first words that escape your lips are Alhamdulillah, you are not just acknowledging that you have been given another day. You are recognizing that every part of your existence is sustained by Allah's mercy. Gratitude is not only a feeling in the heart, it is a recognition of reality. The reality that you are blessed far beyond what you can ever count. Many people wake up thinking about what they don't have, what they have lost, or what they fear. But a believer is taught to begin by acknowledging what they do have. Life, health, the chance to change, the ability to worship, the opportunity to grow, and the mercy of Allah that has covered them even while they were asleep. When you begin with gratitude, your mindset shifts completely. Instead of stepping into the day with heaviness, you step into it with lightness. Instead of starting with anxiety, you start with awareness. By expressing gratitude, you are training your heart to see Allah's blessings before you see your problems. You are teaching your soul to recognize the gifts of Allah before thinking about the challenges that lie ahead. Gratitude in the morning softens the heart and invites serenity into the soul. It is one of the quickest and most powerful ways to connect your heart to your Creator long before the distractions of the day try to pull you away. Gratitude also builds humility. When you thank Allah for waking you, you are admitting that you do not control your sleep, your waking, your heartbeat, or even your next breath. You slept helpless, unaware, and vulnerable, and Allah returned your soul to your body out of His mercy. Recognizing this humbles you. It reminds you that no matter how strong you think you are, or how independent you believe yourself to be, your entire existence depends on the divine care of Allah. This humility then becomes the foundation for the rest of your day, making you more patient, more gentle, more conscious, more forgiving, and more aware of your actions. One of the beautiful effects of starting with gratitude is that it protects you from falling into negativity. When the heart begins with appreciation, it becomes much harder for stress and pessimism to dominate. Gratitude creates a shield around your thoughts. It helps you interpret events more positively. If something difficult happens later in the day, the heart that began with gratitude says, there must be wisdom in this. Allah is still guiding me. Allah has already given me so much. The heart that did not begin with gratitude, however, may crumble at the slightest difficulty because it is already standing on weak foundations. Gratitude strengthens you emotionally and spiritually, allowing you to navigate challenges with resilience. Additionally, beginning your day with gratitude increases clarity. When your mind is calm and your heart is content, you are better able to focus on your goals, responsibilities, and decisions. You move with purpose rather than confusion. Studies today show how powerful gratitude is for mental health, but Allah already taught believers this long before modern research. When you say Alhamdulillah with sincerity, you are nurturing your emotional well-being, improving your mindset, and inviting optimism into your thoughts. Gratitude sharpens your ability to recognize opportunities and blessings that others overlook. It allows you to see possibilities where others see obstacles. Gratitude in the morning also strengthens your relationship with Allah throughout the day. When the first thing you do is acknowledge Him, you are more likely to remember Him during your work, your interactions, your prayers, and your decisions. Gratitude acts like a spiritual magnet. The more you express it, the more it pulls your heart back to Allah during the day. And Allah Himself promises that when you are grateful, He increases you. This increase may come in the form of barakah, ease, protection, emotional peace, strengthened faith, or tangible blessings. The believer who starts with gratitude is already standing under the rain of Allah's favors even before they step out of their home. Another important aspect is that gratitude inspires action. When you recognize the blessings of Allah, it encourages you to use those blessings wisely. If you appreciate your health, you feel motivated to use your time productively. If you appreciate the chance to live another day, you feel driven to improve your character, repair your relationships, or increase your worship. Gratitude pushes you to avoid wasting your day because you know that many people were not given the chance you have been given today. Gratitude also opens the heart to compassion. When you acknowledge the blessings you have, it becomes easier to help those who have less. You begin to see the struggles of others with more empathy. You realize that your blessings are not a sign of superiority, but a test from Allah to see how you will use them. A grateful heart becomes softer, kinder, and more generous. Finally, when you begin your day with gratitude, you are training your soul to live in recognition of Allah's grace. You are building a habit that slowly transforms your entire character. Gratitude is not only the start of a good day, it is the start of a better life. A person who walks through life with gratitude walks with contentment. They radiate peace, they inspire others. They find blessings even in tests and light, even in darkness. Gratitude is a form of worship, a source of strength, and a doorway to happiness. And when you begin each morning with it, you are truly commanding your day with the remembrance of Allah. Emphasizes the importance of using powerful morning prayers, dua, adhkar, and Quranic supplications as a way to strengthen the heart, protect the soul, and prepare the mind for the challenges of the day. Morning prayers are not simply rituals that a believer recites mechanically. They are intentional acts of connection with Allah. They remind you that before you deal with the world, you must deal with the one who created the world. Before you speak to people, you speak to your Lord. Before you expose yourself to the noise of life, you clothe yourself in the protection of remembrance. When you begin your morning with prayer, you are consciously choosing to invite divine guidance into your life. You are acknowledging that you cannot navigate the day on your own, no matter how intelligent, experienced, or strong you may be. You are admitting that life is filled with uncertainties and hidden challenges, and only Allah can guide you through them. Morning prayers position your heart in the right direction and ensure that your first emotional response of the day is one of connection rather than confusion, faith rather than fear. The believer who recites morning adhkar understands that these supplications are shields, not slogans. They are spiritual armor placed upon you by the Prophet through the mercy of Allah. Every phrase carries weight. When you say Bismillahil Adi, La yadhuru ma ismihi shay'un, you are not just saying words, you are declaring that no harm can touch you unless Allah allows it. When you recite A'udhu bi kalimatillahi tatamati min shari ma khalaq, you are placing yourself under the protection of Allah's perfect words. away from the evil within creation. When you proclaim Hasbi Allahu la ilaha illa huwa, you are announcing to your own heart that Allah is enough for you, and therefore you do not fear what the day holds. These prayers give peace because they realign the soul. They quiet the whispers of anxiety and awaken the remembrance of who truly controls your fate. Many people wake up already overwhelmed, thinking of deadlines, responsibilities, disappointments, losses, and fears. But when you begin with dua, your heart says, "Oh Allah, I entrust everything to you." This surrender does not weaken you, it strengthens you. It brings clarity and reassurance. It reminds you that you are held by a power far greater than anything that awaits you outside your door. Morning prayers also bring spiritual discipline. They require you to pause, to breathe, to reflect, and to speak to Allah with intention. In a world where people rush from the moment they wake up, taking a few minutes to engage in purposeful remembrance is an act of spiritual maturity. It is a way of saying, I will not let the world pull me before I anchor myself in the remembrance of my Lord. This discipline brings barakah to your day. Your time becomes more productive, your mind more focused, and your heart more resilient. The same tasks that once drained you now feel lighter because they are approached with the peace that comes from the remembrance of Allah. Another powerful aspect of morning prayers is that they create inner stability. Many believers underestimate the impact that spiritual grounding has on emotional well-being. When your day starts with remembrance, your mind becomes more stable, your emotions more balanced, and your reactions more composed. You respond rather than react. You think before you speak. You pause before you anger. You breathe before you panic. This is because your heart has already been calibrated through the remembrance of Allah. The Prophet taught that hearts find rest in remembrance, and this rest becomes the foundation for healthy emotional functioning. Morning prayer also invites angels into your life. Angels accompany the believer who remembers Allah at the beginning of the day. Their presence brings tranquility, blessings, safety, and protection. It is no coincidence that the Prophet advised specific morning adhkar for protection against harm, magic, envy, anxiety, and the influence of shaitan. This is because the morning is the time when the heart is most open to spiritual influence, positive or negative. When you fill your morning with remembrance, you surround yourself with divine protection before stepping into the unknown. These prayers also renew intention. Many people go through the day aimlessly, reacting to events without purpose. But when you begin with dua, you re-establish your direction. You remind yourself that your actions are for the sake of Allah. You ask for guidance, sincerity, and wisdom. This intention transforms routine tasks into acts of worship. Your work becomes an offering. Your conversations become opportunities for kindness. Your struggles become pathways to patience. A day that begins with intention becomes a day lived with meaning. Morning prayers also nurture a deeper relationship with Allah. The early hours of the day are spiritually sacred. The heart is softer, the mind clearer, the soul more receptive. Speaking to Allah in these moments fills the heart with warmth and serenity. It reminds you that Allah is close, listening, and aware of every detail of your life. This closeness helps you face the day with confidence, because you know that if Allah is with you, nothing can overcome you. Finally, morning prayers prepare your heart for whatever Allah has written for you. Life does not always unfold according to our expectations. Some days bring joy, others bring difficulty. But the person who begins the day with remembrance is not shaken by the unexpected. They accept, they trust, they persevere. Their heart is anchored, their mind is clear, and their soul is calm. No matter what the world brings, they carry a secret strength inside them, the strength that comes from remembering Allah at the beginning of the day. Centers on affirming trust in Allah, the deep, unwavering belief that nothing in your life unfolds without His permission, His knowledge, and His wisdom. Trusting Allah is not a simple statement. It is a state of the heart. It is a spiritual posture, a way of walking through life with confidence, even when the path is uncertain. When a believer begins the day by reminding themselves that Allah is the one who controls all affairs, their heart settles, their mind clears, and their soul finds peace. This trust is called tawakkul, and it is one of the greatest treasures a believer can carry. From the moment you wake up, you are met with choices, responsibilities, worries, and unknowns. You do not know what the day holds. You do not know what tests or blessings are written for you. But when you declare, I place my trust in Allah, you are acknowledging that although you cannot see the full picture, you know the one who designed it. You allow your heart to rest on the certainty that Allah's plan is better than your fears, better than your assumptions, and better than anything you could plan for yourself. Trust is not blindness, it is clarity. It is recognizing that your strength is limited, but Allah's strength is limitless. People often confuse trusting Allah with being passive, but true trust is active. It means you put in your effort, you make your plans, you take your steps, but your heart does not cling to your efforts. It clings to Allah. You work hard, but you do not worship the work. You worship the one who grants success through that work. You take medicine, but you know the healing comes from Allah. You earn money, but you know sustenance is written by Him. You make decisions, but you understand guidance flows from His mercy. This balance removes the burden of carrying life on your own shoulders. It frees you from the illusion that everything depends on you. It allows you to breathe. Beginning your day with trust in Allah protects you from the anxiety that comes when you rely too heavily on yourself. When you think that everything must go exactly according to your plan, your heart becomes fragile. The slightest change, the smallest setback, or the gentlest delay feels like a disaster. But when you trust in Allah, interruptions become redirections. Delays become protection. Disappointments become lessons. Trust transforms your emotional landscape, teaching you to interpret events not through panic but through faith. Trusting Allah also requires humility. It means acknowledging that you do not know everything and cannot control everything. Many people struggle with trust because they fear losing control. But the truth is, humans never truly had control to begin with. Life can change in a moment. Circumstances can shift in a second. Trusting Allah frees you from the illusion of control and replaces it with the comfort of divine care. You begin to see that Allah has always been managing your affairs better than you could ever manage them yourself. Another powerful effect of trusting Allah is that it purifies the heart from jealousy, comparison, and resentment. When you believe that Allah is the one who distributes blessings, you no longer obsess over what others have. You do not feel threatened by their success, nor do you feel forgotten during your own struggles. You know that Allah's timing is perfect. You know that your path is different from theirs. Trusting Allah helps you understand that no one can take away what Allah has written for you, just as you cannot possess what He has written for someone else. Your heart becomes calmer, more content, and more accepting. Trust in Allah also strengthens patience. When difficulties arise, the heart that trusts does not crumble. It does not question the wisdom of the Lord. It says, if Allah brought me to this, He will bring me through it. This type of patience is not passive waiting, it is active hope. It is hope that Allah will never abandon you. Hope that Allah will reward your endurance. Hope that after hardship comes ease. Trust turns patience into worship and pain into purification. Trusting Allah also improves your relationships. When your heart is secure in Allah, you do not place unrealistic expectations on people. You do not seek from creation what can only be given by the Creator. You become less reactive, more forgiving, and more understanding. You realize that people like you are flawed and limited. You stop relying on them for emotional stability and turn instead to Allah. This reduces disappointment and increases compassion. Beginning your day with trust in Allah gives you the strength to face whatever is written for you without fear. It gives you the courage to make decisions without being paralyzed by the possibility of failure. It gives you the wisdom to ask Allah to guide your steps and the inner peace to accept His guidance even when it differs from your plans. Trusting Allah means you believe that He sees what you cannot see and knows what you cannot understand. It means surrendering your heart while moving your feet. It means letting go while holding on. It means believing that what Allah chooses for you is always better than what you choose for yourself. When a believer anchors their day in trust, they walk differently, speak differently, and think differently. Their heart is not tossed by the waves of life because it is anchored to the shore of faith. Nothing in their day is random, nothing is wasted, and nothing is unseen by Allah. This trust transforms every moment into an opportunity to grow closer to Him. It gives meaning to struggle, beauty to patience, and sweetness to reliance. And when a believer lives with this trust, they carry a calmness and strength that others feel even before they understand its source. Reminds us of the importance of consciously rejecting negativity and the whisperings of shaitan by replacing fear with tawakkul, reliance on Allah. Every morning as you begin your day, your mind becomes a battlefield of thoughts. Some positive, some destructive, some inspiring, and some discouraging. The human heart is constantly influenced by internal emotions and external whispers. If a person is not mindful, negativity can quietly slip into their heart and begin shaping their outlook, their decisions, and even their relationship with Allah. This is why rejecting negativity is not a passive act. It is a deliberate spiritual effort, a discipline of the heart that must be practiced every single day. The whispers of shaitan often come in subtle forms. They do not always appear as obvious temptations or clear misguidance. Sometimes they come as small seeds of doubt. You can't handle this. Your problem is too big. Your past defines you. Your dua will not be answered, or your efforts will not succeed. Shaitan loves to plant fear in the heart because fear restricts spiritual growth. Fear makes a person cling to the worst possible outcomes instead of trusting in the best possible protector. Fear makes the believer forget the mercy of Allah and amplify the power of the problem. And if these whispers go unchecked, they slowly drain the heart of hope, strength, and clarity. Rejecting negativity requires awareness. You must be able to recognize when a harmful thought enters your mind. This awareness is part of taqwa, being conscious of Allah and conscious of what harms your soul. When a believer catches a negative thought early, before it spreads roots, they can immediately counter it with remembrance, dua, and trust. A heart that is quick to return to Allah is a heart that cannot be easily claimed by despair. One of the greatest forms of rejecting negativity is through replacing fear with tawakkul. Fear often arises from the belief that you are alone in your struggles, that you must carry your burdens without support. But tawakkul reminds you that Allah is with you, supporting you, guiding you, protecting you, and watching over you. When the believer says, Allah is with me, fear loses its strength. The Prophet taught us that if the entire world were to gather to harm you, they could not harm you unless Allah decreed it. And if the whole world gathered to benefit you, they could not benefit you unless Allah decreed it. This truth destroys the foundation of fear. It reminds you that the world does not control your fate, Allah does. Negativity often comes from focusing too much on the future or clinging too tightly to the past. Shaitan loves to make you replay your mistakes, exaggerate your weaknesses, and imagine worst-case scenarios. But tawakkul pulls you back into the present moment. It reminds you that the only thing you are responsible for right now is turning to Allah and taking the steps He has placed before you. When you trust Allah, your mind becomes calmer. You stop imagining disasters that have not happened. You stop fearing outcomes that are not in your hands. You realize that Allah will handle what you cannot, and you handle what Allah has placed within your capability. Rejecting negativity also strengthens your relationship with yourself. Many people speak to themselves more harshly than they would ever speak to another person. They judge themselves, belittle their efforts, and doubt their worth. This self-negativity weakens the soul. But when you replace these thoughts with trust in Allah's plan and mercy, you begin to see yourself the way your Creator sees you, as someone capable of growth, deserving of mercy, and worthy of forgiveness. Negative thoughts lose power when you remember that Allah is more merciful to you than you are to yourself. Another powerful part of rejecting negativities is controlling the environment around you. The company you keep, the content you consume, the conversations you engage in, all of these either nourish the heart or drain it. Negativity spreads like smoke. You may not notice it at first, but eventually it clouds your thinking and suffocates your spiritual clarity. A believer protects their mind by surrounding themselves with uplifting influences and limiting the sources of pessimism. This is not avoidance, it is wisdom. A healthy environment supports a healthy heart. Replacing negativity with trust also transforms the way you interpret challenges. Instead of seeing them as signs that Allah is displeased with you, you begin seeing them as opportunities for growth, purification, and elevation. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And begin saying, Allah knows I can handle this, and there is goodness hidden within it. This mindset does not remove hardship, but it removes the sting of hardship. It makes you stronger, more resilient, and more spiritually mature. Every believer must understand that rejecting negativity is an ongoing effort. It is not achieved in one morning, it is practiced every morning. The heart naturally drifts, and the whispers naturally return. But each time you challenge them, you grow stronger. Each time you replace fear with trust, your soul becomes more grounded. Each time you silence the whispers with remembrance, you gain another layer of spiritual protection. Ultimately, rejecting negativity is about remembering who Allah is. When you truly know your Lord, His mercy, His power, His knowledge, His wisdom, negativity loses its grip. You begin your day with confidence, not because you trust yourself, but because you trust the one guiding you. And when a believer walks through life with this trust, no amount of negativity can overpower the light in their heart. Highlights the importance of seeking forgiveness and purification at the start of the day. This practice is not merely a spiritual recommendation, it is a profound cleansing of the heart, mind, and soul. Seeking forgiveness from Allah is one of the most powerful ways to invite mercy, ease, and blessings into your life. When a believer begins their morning by saying Astaghfirullah with sincerity, they are clearing away the dust that has settled on their heart, whether from mistakes, forgetfulness, or the everyday weaknesses of human nature. None of us is free from shortcomings, and Allah does not expect us to be perfect. He expects us to keep returning to Him. Every night, many thoughts, emotions, and sins accumulate in the heart, even without intention. Perhaps you spoke harshly to someone, entertained a negative thought, felt jealousy, became impatient, or fell into heedlessness. These are part of being human. But starting your day with istighfar is a reminder that Allah's door is always open, His mercy is always available, and His forgiveness is always near. It reassures the believer that no matter what happened yesterday, today can be different. Purification is not only about removing past stains, but creating space for new blessings to enter. One of the greatest effects of seeking forgiveness in the morning is that it softens the heart. A heart that is weighed down by sin becomes stiff and heavy, unable to feel the sweetness of worship or the lightness of remembrance. But when you sincerely ask Allah to forgive you, your heart becomes lighter, softer, and more receptive to guidance. A soft heart is able to love, forgive, understand, and connect. A hardened heart, on the other hand, becomes distant from Allah and distant from peace. Istighfar opens the doors of tranquility and allows the soul to breathe again. Another powerful impact of seeking forgiveness in the morning is the removal of spiritual barriers. Sometimes a person feels stuck in life, stuck in their work, finances, relationships, or personal growth. Nothing seems to move forward. The believer may try everything outwardly, but still feels blocked. One of the reasons for this stagnation can be unaddressed sins that cloud the heart and prevent blessings from flowing. When a believer begins the day with istighfar, they are clearing away these barriers. They are asking Allah to remove the unseen obstacles that prevent success and ease. This is why the Quran associates istighfar with rain, provision, increase in wealth, and blessings in children. When the heart is purified, blessings naturally descend. Morning istighfar also trains the believer to take responsibility for their actions. It teaches humility. When you begin your day by saying, "Oh Allah, forgive me," you are admitting your imperfection and acknowledging your need for divine mercy. This humility protects you from arrogance, self-righteousness, and self-deception. It keeps you grounded. A person who recognizes their own faults is softer, kinder, more patient, and more understanding with others. They do not judge harshly because they know their own need for forgiveness. Purification through istighfar also strengthens your connection with Allah. When you seek forgiveness sincerely, you are not just repeating words, you are having a conversation with your Creator. You are admitting your mistakes, expressing regret, and seeking comfort in His mercy. This creates intimacy between the servant and the Lord. You feel seen, understood, and embraced by Allah's compassion. Beginning your day with this emotional and spiritual closeness gives you confidence and inner strength. You walk through your day knowing that you have returned to Allah and Allah has welcomed you back. Another benefit of seeking forgiveness in the morning is the protection it provides from future sins. When you purify your heart at the start of the day, you become more conscious of your actions throughout the day. You are more attentive to your thoughts, your words, and your behavior. You avoid situations that may lead you astray. You become more disciplined with your tongue, preventing yourself from backbiting, arguing, or hurting others. Purification sharpens your awareness and strengthens your self-control. Istighfar also renews your spiritual energy. Many people wake up feeling heavy, tired, or unmotivated. Sometimes this heaviness does not come from physical exhaustion, but from spiritual weight. A heart burdened with guilt or regret feels tired even before the day begins. But when you seek forgiveness with sincerity, you feel rejuvenated. Your heart feels cleansed, your mind clearer, and your soul more energetic. Purification brings a freshness that no amount of sleep can provide. Additionally, seeking forgiveness teaches you to seek Allah's help before seeking solutions elsewhere. Many people wake up and immediately turn to their problems: unpaid bills, work pressure, family issues, personal struggles. But the believer who begins with istighfar is reminding themselves that only Allah can bring true relief. Only Allah can untangle the knots of life. Only Allah can replace sadness with peace, fear with strength, and difficulty with ease. Istighfar is not just a request for forgiveness, it is a declaration of need. Finally, purification at the start of the day prepares your heart for blessings. Allah loves a purified heart. A purified heart is like fertile soil, ready to receive seeds of guidance, wisdom, peace, and prosperity. When you start your morning with istighfar, you are not only erasing what lies behind you, you are preparing what lies ahead. You are positioning yourself under the showers of Allah's mercy, ready to experience a day filled with purpose, clarity, and divine support. Seeking forgiveness. Every morning is one of the most powerful spiritual habits a believer can develop. It transforms your mindset, strengthens your heart, and connects you deeply with Allah. It removes heaviness, invites blessings, and prepares you to walk through your day with a clean heart and a hopeful spirit. Emphasizes declaring purpose and discipline in the morning as a way to set the tone for the entire day, transforming ordinary hours into moments of intentional living and spiritual growth. Every day, a believer is given a new opportunity, a gift of time from Allah, and how one begins this day often determines how it unfolds. When you start your morning with clear intention and a sense of purpose, you align yourself with divine guidance, ensuring that your actions are not random or wasted, but meaningful and productive. Purpose is not merely having goals, it is living with awareness that every breath, every step, and every choice can either bring you closer to Allah or distance you from Him. Declaring purpose in the morning acts like setting a compass. Without direction, a person can drift through the day, reacting to circumstances, being influenced by the environment, and allowing distraction and weakness to dominate. But when you consciously remind yourself of your purpose, you anchor your mind and heart to what truly matters. You begin to see your work, your responsibilities, and even your challenges as part of a larger mission, a mission to live according to Allah's pleasure, to embody good character, to benefit others, and to strengthen your own faith. This awareness transforms mundane tasks into acts of worship. Washing your hands, speaking to colleagues, attending to family responsibilities, or even managing your own personal affairs can become opportunities to fulfill your purpose when done with intention. Discipline is the companion of purpose. Purpose without discipline is like a ship without sails. It knows where it wants to go, but it lacks the means to reach the destination. Declaring discipline in the morning is an act of training the soul to follow through with intention. It is telling yourself, today I will not allow my desires, distractions, or weaknesses to control me. Today I will act with focus, patience, and integrity. Discipline is not punishment, it is self-mastery. It is the commitment to act according to your principles, regardless of external pressures or fleeting emotions. When a believer starts the day with this mindset, even challenges that arise unexpectedly are met with a calm and determined heart. A powerful aspect of beginning the day with purpose is that it strengthens resilience. Life is unpredictable. No one knows what trials or blessings will come. When the mind and heart are anchored in purpose, setbacks do not shake the soul. Failures do not lead to despair. Obstacles are seen as part of the journey rather than insurmountable barriers. By declaring purpose in the morning, the believer equips themselves with the mental and spiritual tools to endure difficulty and maintain focus, knowing that Allah is the ultimate guide and that every event carries wisdom, even if it is not immediately apparent. Morning purpose also cultivates accountability. When you consciously set intentions and discipline yourself, you are acknowledging that you are responsible for your time and actions. You are committing to use the day in a way that pleases Allah. This sense of responsibility prevents procrastination, carelessness, and aimlessness. It reminds the believer that every moment is a trust from Allah, and neglecting it is a form of ingratitude. Declaring purpose is therefore both a motivational and a moral act, combining inner inspiration with ethical responsibility. Purpose and discipline in the morning also guide emotional regulation. When a believer begins the day with clear intentions, the heart is less likely to be swayed by anger, impatience, jealousy, or negativity. These emotions often arise when the mind is unfocused, the heart is restless, and the soul feels disconnected. But when your day begins with purpose, every action is filtered through a lens of mindfulness and accountability. You pause before reacting impulsively. You choose patience over frustration. You choose calm over anxiety. Purpose transforms emotional responses into deliberate choices. Another important aspect of declaring purpose and discipline is that it fosters growth in all areas of life. Spiritual growth, personal development, relationships, and professional endeavors all benefit when approached with intentionality. When you begin your morning by affirming your commitment to act with integrity, kindness, and diligence, you automatically create conditions for excellence. You pay more attention to learning opportunities, self-improvement, and constructive interactions. You stop wasting energy on trivialities and focus on what truly matters, knowing that time is finite and accountability is real. Declaring purpose also strengthens gratitude and contentment. When a believer begins the day with the awareness that every action can be a means of drawing closer to Allah, even small tasks become sources of blessing. The simple act of preparing for the day, organizing your schedule, or helping someone can be infused with meaning. Purpose allows the believer to see life as a series of opportunities to earn reward, not as burdens to endure. This perspective reduces stress, increases satisfaction, and cultivates inner peace. Morning discipline and purpose also enhance the quality of prayer and worship. When you begin the day with a conscious commitment to live intentionally, your prayers are not just ritual recitations. They become heartfelt dialogues with Allah. Your worship becomes more sincere, your dua more focused, and your gratitude more profound. The believer who declares purpose understands that the day is a collection of moments, and each moment can be an act of devotion if approached with awareness. Finally, beginning your day with purpose and discipline prepares you for consistency and long-term success. Life is a series of small, repeated actions, and the quality of these actions determines the trajectory of your life. Declaring purpose in the morning sets the standard for your behavior throughout the day. It ensures that your habits, decisions, and interactions are aligned with your values. Over time, this daily discipline compounds, creating a life of integrity, achievement, and spiritual fulfillment. In conclusion, starting the day by declaring purpose and discipline is a transformative act. It gives direction, builds resilience, nurtures responsibility, regulates emotion, fosters growth, strengthens worship, and prepares the believer for success in all areas of life. Every morning is an opportunity to realign with Allah's guidance, to harness time wisely, and to live intentionally. A day begun with purpose is a day commanded in victory, where every step, word, and choice reflects consciousness, devotion, and discipline. Commanding your day in total victory begins with intention, mindfulness, and connection to Allah. Each morning is a fresh gift, a new opportunity to align your heart, mind, and actions with divine guidance. By expressing gratitude, you recognize the blessings around you and soften your heart for the day ahead. By reciting powerful morning prayers and supplications, you fortify your soul, invite protection, and anchor yourself in remembrance. By affirming trust in Allah, you release fear and uncertainty, knowing that the one who created you is guiding every step. By rejecting negativity and whispers of doubt, you protect your heart and cultivate resilience. By seeking forgiveness and purification, you cleanse your soul and open the doors for mercy, blessings, and renewed energy. And by declaring purpose and discipline, you transform each action into meaningful worship, ensuring that your day is lived intentionally, productively, and in alignment with what pleases Allah. When all of these practices are embraced together, they